Let's talk about what happens when a narcissist turns people against you. It's one of the most destabilizing, painful stages of the abuse cycle, not because of what the narcissist does directly, but because of what he manages to orchestrate behind the scenes. You start losing people. Like there's friends in your life that go silent, family that starts to pull away, and you walk into familiar spaces and feel like you're a stranger. Then the most disorienting part about this is you don't even have a clue why. There was no arguments, there was no confrontations, there was just a slow, quiet withdrawal from the people that are around you. This strategy we often refer to as flying monkeys. Borrowed from the Wizard of Oz, flying monkeys are individuals that a narcissist manipulates to carry out his agenda, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. But to understand how they work, you have to understand the psychology behind them, what actually makes this up. You see, a narcissist rarely isolates you by force. He doesn't lock you up. He doesn't need to. He isolates you by eroding the credibility of your voice, subtly, persistently, strategically. Here's how it usually starts. The narcissist senses that he's losing control of the narrative, of the story that he's been selling other people. Maybe you're setting healthy boundaries. Maybe you're questioning inconsistencies. Maybe you're showing signs of emotional independence apart from him. And any of these can trigger a narcissist's internal threat response. Because for some of them, control is safety. And the loss of control, that's perceived as danger. So he has to do whatever he can to make sure he's safe. So he starts planting seeds of doubt in other people's minds, making them think and wonder that something might be wrong. Small comments, slight exaggerations, moments of concern. She's been really emotional lately. I'm worried. She's been distant. I just don't know how to help her anymore. I love her, but I feel like she's changing. Something's different. And to the untrained ear, they might not sound malicious. They might even sound caring or even compassionate even. But the statements inside of this are calculated to create a frame. And once a narcissist controls the frame of the conversation, everything else can be bent to fit inside it. So when you finally react, break down, cry, confront, collapse under the weight of it all, it looks like he was right the entire time. Because he's built a case around you without you even knowing it. Now let's be clear, flying monkeys are not always willful participants. Some are simply manipulated by the narcissist's charm. And unless they're willing to do the work and ask you what's actually going on, well, they're going to keep doing it. Some might be emotionally triangulated, coerced in different ways. Some are carrying their own unresolved insecurities that align with the narcissist just to avoid discomfort. Regardless of the intent, the impact on you is real. Like you lose more than just a partner or a friend. You lose your support system and structure around you. You lose your community. And for many survivors, this creates double trauma. First, there's the abuse itself. Then there's the disbelief, betrayed by people that you trusted. Then that's when you start having this emotional fallout. It becomes more dangerous because now you're not just hurt, you're isolated. And isolated creates the perfect condition to further abuse. It becomes harder to leave. It becomes harder to trust yourself. It becomes harder to reach out for help. It becomes harder to heal because you're not sure who to believe anymore. You're not even sure if you believe you anymore. And that's the long-term damage of flying monkeys. They don't just spread lies. They dismantle your access to truth. They make you doubt your own eyes, your own ears. They make you question your memory, your reality, your perception of what's actually going on. And that confusion isn't just by happenstance. It's not accidental. It's manufactured. It's engineered to keep you silent, to keep you small, to keep you shrinking, to keep you dependent on the very person who's the one causing the harm. Let's go a little bit deeper into the mechanisms of why this dynamic keeps going, why it's so effective, and what happens when you begin to wake up to it. You see, when a narcissist turns people against you, it's not always through overt slander. In fact, it's oftentimes more damaging because it's subtle, it's calculated, it's couched in language that appears like reasonable, kind, caring, self-reflective even on the surface. He might say different things of like, I probably shouldn't be sharing this, but I'm really worried about her mental health. I'm concerned about what's bothering her. Like, I love her, but she's just been kind of unstable. Like, I've done everything I can. Oftentimes, these statements don't look immediately like a character assassination. They look like concern. But what a narcissist is actually doing is shifting the emotional loyalty of people around you. He's reframing the story so that when the truth finally comes out, people are already primed to doubt you. And they do it while they appear composed. Because if he looks calm and you look reactive, you're going to be perceived as the unstable one. That's the plan. That's the strategy. He knows how to leverage your normal human response to pain, emotion, and make it look like confirmation of the narrative that he sold other people. The hard part is you don't even realize it's happening until you're in the middle of the fallout and the breakdown, because people stop returning your calls, family starts withdrawing, people you used to trust stop looking you in the eye, and you're left wondering, what did I do? It's disorienting because it mimics the dynamic that you've been living with inside the narcissistic relationship. Gaslighting from the outside now matches the gaslighting from the inside. So when you're finally brave enough to speak out, you're like, here's what's really been happening. You're met with silence or even worse, skepticism. Because the narcissist already told his version of the story. He got there first. In this culture, especially with the people who don't understand the nuances of emotional manipulation and abuse, the first story often becomes the story. So what do you do inside this? The first step is trying to stop convincing people who've already shown you that they're not willing to hear you. They're not. That is one of the hardest parts because you've spent years of being misunderstood. The desire to being believed becomes overwhelming. But you're going to start chasing validation from people committed to misunderstanding you only deepens your pain even more. It hurts even worse. Instead, you start with one simple truth. You know what happened. You know what you felt. You know what you endured. And that truth doesn't require a consensus from all the people around you to remain true. Once you stop arguing for your reality, you can start reclaiming it. You can begin separating fact from narrative. You can begin rebuilding your sense of trust, not in them, but in you. This is when clarity really starts and when it really returns, because now you're not just looking at what the narcissist did to you, you're looking at how people around you responded to it. Some of them stayed silent. Some of them turned. Some of them joined in. And the hard part that's essential truth for you to hear is anyone who could be turned that easily was not safe in the first place. That doesn't make the loss any easier, but it does make the rebuilding a little bit cleaner. Because now you're not rebuilding with people, you're rebuilding with clarity, knowing who to trust and who to move forward with. And clarity is when the healing starts to accelerate. We talk all the time inside of Raw Motivations: clarity, confidence, certainty. Those are the three things we help you build, because healing from this type of betrayal means redefining what safety means to you, not just emotionally, but relationship-wise. When the narcissist turned people against you, he wasn't just targeting your reputation. He wasn't trying to just break that down. He was dismantling your safety net, the communities to support you, your ability to feel safe, seen, and heard, grounded inside of relationships that used to be secure. And this is the part that cuts deeper than the relationship did itself, because you expected the narcissist to hurt you eventually. But you didn't expect the people around you to stay silent, to kind of turn and look the other way, to assume neutrality while you're just sitting there drowning. That's the pain that's really real, and you're allowed to grieve it. Not everyone is equipped to stand beside someone who's healing. Not everyone has the capacity or the courage to question the version of events that look clean on the surface but are really dirty underneath. But the people who do, those are the people worth finding and keeping in your life, because you don't just need support, you need alignment. You need people who can see clearly, who believe you the first time, that don't have to get through the fog to figure it out, who don't require a case file to prove or validate that you had pain in your life. You spend enough time of your life being misunderstood, and it's time to start rebuilding relationships that not just reinforce your clarity, but not your confusion. They help you see with clarity. So where do you begin inside of all this? You have to begin by reconnecting your own inner compass. Not theirs, not his, but you actually finding truth and trust with you. The one that felt something was off long before his mask came off. Like the version of you that saw through the manipulation, even though the world around you didn't. That part of you is still intact, but it might feel like it's buried underneath self-doubt, anxiety, exhaustion. It's still there. It's waiting for you to trust it again. The process of healing from flying monkeys and narcissistic betrayal isn't just about cutting ties. It's about rebuilding trust with yourself. Because most people say, I don't trust anybody now. I don't know who I can trust. The reality is you don't trust you to make decisions. It's about learning how do you spot the red flags and subtle behaviors, not just from the abusers, but the enablers who protect them. It's about recognizing that your energy, your time is sacred. Not everybody deserves access to you. And that people who weaponize silence or they become neutral in the face of abuse, they're not neutral. They're complicit. You're not stuck here anymore. You've already been on the hardest part, and that's seeing the truth. Now it's time to wake up, to step into the next part, not just surviving, but reclaiming you. And that's where we come in here. If you're ready to break free, not just from the narcissist, but for the internal damage his lies and the flying monkeys have done, then let's talk. Book a free clarity call at rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. There's your space to name the truth, to map the damage, to get strategic about how to rebuild. You don't have to keep carrying all this weight by yourself. You've already carried enough. Now start by clearing the weight and helping you get back to clarity, to confidence, and certainty in your world. You've been told it's all your fault, and that makes you feel crazy. No one understands you, and that leaves you in a place of being alone. You've tried to break free multiple times, and that leaves you helpless because nothing you've done has actually worked. It hasn't actually got you free or liberated from this toxic relationship. So you feel crazy, alone, and hopeless. Guess what? That's a lie. Because all it is how you've been raised and conditioned inside of this abusive relationship over and over. And as a result, you've sacrificed your growth, you've sacrificed your worth, and you've been trapped inside of a toxic relationship. What if I showed you the path to freedom? A way for you to actually get free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity that's happening right here, right now. You deserve more. You deserve to be able to heal. And I want to help you with that. If I can help you with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Schedule a call there and let's talk. You left him. You blocked the number. You deleted the photos. You walked away from the chaos. But if you're really honest, he still lives in your head. You still shrink when someone raises their voice. You still second guess every decision. You still hear his words spoken in your own voice now. That's not healing. That's just surviving on autopilot. No one's told you that this part of the whole journey will be the hardest. Not the leaving, but the aftermath is one of the most difficult pieces. Like where you're out of the relationship, but you're still trapped in the middle of all the damage, in the middle of all the confusion. That's why I created the Reclaim Workshop. It's a one-day trauma-informed workshop for women who've survived narcissistic abuse, but haven't yet fully felt free. We're going to meet in Orlando, Florida, virtually or in person, in July 12th. And in that room, we'll do what the relationship never allowed you to do. We'll tell the truth. We'll break the cycle. And we'll come back home to you. Click on the link. Don't let the ghost of a man control the woman that you're actually becoming now.